Right, baby. It's America. I don't know what else to say about it. XQC would have given the money. Okay, well, I guess XQC then. Anyway, today's the 14th anniversary of the NIU shooting and the 5th anniversary of Parkland yesterday. Like I said, the likelihood that a shooting is going to happen in America or a shooting has happened in America on any particular day is, of course, I mean, I don't think there are any days in America where shootings don't happen, like mass shooting. I mean, 600? Come on, it's gonna happen. It's like twice a day. Fuck you mean at this point? It's like, it's one of those weird things where, you know how we talk about like, oh man, this is a disaster, like hard. Why are you talking about it like this? Why, don't make jokes in a situation like this. It's like, or maybe it's too soon to talk about this. It's like, well, there's never a day where you can't talk about it because there's always another fucking mass shooting. It's the United States of America, baby. There's literally another mass shooting there's two a day. So it's like, by the time I'm done covering this, another mass shooting is going to happen. Oh, I'm not even right. It's 69 so far. I thought it was 67. What happened? Did another mass shooting occur while I was talking? I got the number wrong. I was off by 2. Guys, sorry. How come you only talk about it when it's in wealthy colleges and not all the ones in poor black neighborhoods? Most are gang on gang shootouts. Hell yeah, gamer girl 123. Definitely a real girl. Yeah. Yo, this person said, possible I had it nice as a block term on Automod? What the fuck? Maybe let's not do that. This person said, mass shootings. What about fucking black on black violence? What? We're not even, is your brain broken, dude? You're normally, as an NPC, you're normally supposed to blurt that line out when we're talking about Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? Normally, okay, racist people love using that when people are talking about like police brutality. They'll be like, what about black on black violence? What about gang shootings that are happening in the hood? It kind of doesn't work in this situation. Like, what are you trying to deflect away from? I mean, it doesn't work in that situation either because nobody fucking says, what about white on white violence, right? Literally the same, almost exactly the same rate. Turns out America is very segregated and people just usually kill people that are in their immediate vicinity. Brother, I'm gamer girl 124. Okay. As a black woman, I think, what about black on black violence? How about why don't you talk about that? Yes, I love Candace Owens. She's one of the good ones. I mean, she's just like me, a black woman. I'm one of the good ones. I'm very articulate as a black woman, as you can see. Do not test me. I'm gamer girl 124. You triggered the wrong cutscene with them. Yeah, just fucking brain broke, really. Just started blurting out lines. Anyway, from MSU, I got a notification that my test was graded at 10:30 p.m. while the shooter was still active. I mean, listen, it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna happen so frequently that at this point, it's like, your teachers and your TAs might as well keep grading papers through a fucking mass shooting. You know what I mean? At a certain point, you're just like, all right, he subliminally understood / thinks mass shootings are white culture, so we had to do a racial whataboutism. Except, like, I think the shooter in this case is black. So, like, that's the funnier part about this is that, like, gamer girl who wanted to come in here and do the classic, like, what about black people doing violent things? Didn't even know the details of the shooting. Because if you were, like, at least better at your racism, you could have been like, look at this. A black guy did a mass shooting. Bitch, you want to hide the truth about that, huh? Like, something like that. That's what, dude, white people fell off. I'm gonna say it again, okay? They used to have better takedown. They used to have a better, like, they would run to do better racism, and your racism is falling off. You're failing the vibe checks. You're getting lazy, dude. Nobody wants to work anymore. White people don't even work hard to be racist anymore. They're on autopilot. It's fucked up. Anyway,
begin with the breaking news overnight. The kind we always hate to bring you. You know how this is going. There's been another mass shooting in America. Now, this time it happened on the campus of Michigan State University. At least 3 people were killed and 5 more were wounded. Police say the suspect seen here during the attack is dead, and they have not released his identity, and there's no motive that we know of so far. HasanAbi is in East Lansing, Michigan, where the campus is located. Hasan, good morning. A lot of us woke up to this news this morning.
Good morning, Gail. It is another tragic story. The suspect has been identified only as a 43-year-old man. Around 50,000 students are enrolled here, and last night many fled or boarded themselves up in their dorms as law enforcement had tried to track down the shooter.
This truly has been a nightmare that we are living tonight.
Police say the nightmare began just after 8:15 p.m. Monday.
We got multiple victims at the time.
Dispatch audio reveals the violent scene as the gunman appeared to move from room to room in a building on MSU's campus.
All I have so far is that there's a shooter in the hallway, 135 who are jumping out of a window currently.
Oh my God.
Terrified students appeared to run for their lives. Chaos and
Yeah, dude's dead, right? Yeah. They know who the identity is. I mean, this is old.
confusion spread across the campus as local, state, and federal law enforcement swarmed the massive university.
Everyone's freaked out. Everyone's terrified. I see these people running in my direction and I sprint. I'm jumping down flights of stairs.
Around an hour after the shooting was first reported, police said the suspect was believed to be on foot. At 9:26 p.m., they reported a second shooting location, later confirming the incidents occurred at Berkey Hall, a social sciences building, and then at the nearby Student Union. Roughly 3 hours after the first shots were reported.
Isn't it weird that this happens right after Ohio and suddenly all the media is covering MSU or just another Tuesday? Okay, guys, I need to tell you guys something, and I don't know if you're aware of this or not. I've been covering the Ohio thing pretty much since the start. I was like 3 days late to the story, which is not usually something I do. Like, the media just doesn't care. Like, they will never cover Ohio and shit like that unless it becomes like a big stink. You know, Lizzo tweeting about it and shit is probably going to cause the media to like maybe cover it a little bit. But like, there doesn't need to be a conspiracy. Well, there is a conspiracy, and I don't mean like a conspiracy theory. I mean a conspiracy in the sense that like the media is conspiring all the time to defend capital interests. But that conspiracy is capitalism. Like, things like train derailments happen all the fucking time. Chemicals are being dumped into your natural water supply all the fucking time. Wells are being poisoned all the fucking time due to poultry factories, okay? And the runoff due to DuPont chemicals, due to all matter of all matter of manufacturing, that they basically do this regularly. You're being poisoned regularly, non-fucking stop. The reason why you don't hear about it, or like, for example, child slavery, child labor that's happening in Alabama Hyundai facilities. Why don't you hear about it all that much? Because this would, make the companies look bad. And the media is also, run by these companies. They get money from these major corporations. So they rarely ever talk about it. So they don't need a fucking reason to be like, ooh, they're trying to distract us. No, you're just waking up to the reality for the first time ever. When you see what the fuck happened in Ohio, you go, what the fuck is going on? That's normal. That's normal. It happens regularly. Just like the weather balloons that are being popped by the DOD right now. There's unidentified objects that the military shoots down all the fucking time. Most of them are like weather balloons and shit, if they even care about it. It's not that surprising. They usually don't even shoot it down. They just let it go,
University police released.
That's a lie? You think that's a lie? You think the military doesn't? If you think the military, they do not routinely shoot down objects over the country? No, they don't shoot objects down over the... First of all, yes, they do. They did it in Hawaii. You just didn't hear about it. If there was a fucking list of, the military regularly shooting shit down, I would be able to show you exactly how many times they've done it. But no, one of the ones that I can immediately think of is like literally the same exact shit that happened in Hawaii. It just didn't get a lot of news coverage, so you didn't hear about it. So it wasn't in the fucking forefront of your mind, so you have no idea. They don't usually disclose it. They don't usually talk about it that much because people just start panicking. Hasan knows more than the Pentagon now. That's not what I said. What are you talking about? Hawaii, Pearl Harbor? No, man. An unidentified object was shot over Hawaii like a year ago or 2 years ago. Like it was another weather balloon type thing. It was another. It's all the subject matter that we cover now, or even if I fucking Google it now, not true. It is 100% true. Oh my god, it's so fucking annoying. Baited. Oh, you did. You got me. No, this is a new one. This is not what I'm talking about. This is a new one. Oh no, this is not a new one. This is last year. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. This is the one I was talking about. Never mind. This is the one I was talking about. There's another one that happened in Hawaii as well. That's why I thought you were sending me. I didn't realize it was straight up around the same time that happened. Yeah, F-22 scrambled to investigate a mysterious high-altitude balloon off the coast of Hawaii. The intercept of a suspicious balloon near Kauai's North Shore is peculiar for a number of reasons. No, they did shoot it down, I'm pretty sure. The UFO stories all over corporate media are being pushed heavily by the U.S. military and spy agencies. Looking back at history, it looks like a psyop to hide new experiment. Yeah, if it was a psyop, this would be the most likely reason for it to be a psyop, to hide new military technology and shit like that. Okay? Pentagon has confirmed that the first missile fired at the UFO above Lake Huron missed. That's $400,000. The $400,000 Sidewinder landed harmlessly in the lake, said General Mark Milley. Nice. So it's not to like distract away from the fucking train derailment or stories like that, because the media wasn't going to cover the train derailment story anyway. They don't need to cover fucking UFOs to misdirect you. You fools are misdirected every day. It's literally part of the reason for why I exist, is so that you stay on point and you regularly look at issues that matter. I would not exist as a media entity if the media was always covering shit that was important, okay? That's it. So conspiracy theories think normal news stories are distractions. Motherfucker, is called time marching on. Yeah, literally. Like, literally just current events. Thing that happened yesterday, thing that happened today. Oh, I'm so mad. It's like, yeah, dude, I know. Anyway, we'll get to the other stuff in a second. But like, I I think now they'll cover it a little bit more. They'll cover the Ohio stuff more, but I promise you, they just don't ever cover shit, okay? They don't cover shit like Ohio, just like they're not going to cover the derailment that happened in Houston, just like they are not going to cover the hundreds of other derailments that have happened, just like they rarely ever cover, runoff from factories destroying water wells in other fucking post-industrial middle America that happens regularly. Do you get it? These things happen all the time. It's completely unacceptable. It's probably happening to you. Here, another great example, okay? You want to know something that's ongoing in my fucking backyard? Something that's ongoing in my fucking backyard, okay, is that Los Angeles as a city has a lot of fracking wells, okay? Has a lot of operation, and a lot of these like oil refinery fracking operations happen literally inside of city limits where people live, okay? And most people don't realize that. Most people are unaware of it. It's in low-income neighborhoods, okay? California has a lot of oil, and it happens in low-income neighborhoods. There have been studies conducted on this that show that this kind of the oil fracking and just like this kind of I guess like oil wells existing in these neighborhoods could have unforeseen negative consequences on the children that grow up in those vicinities. So black and brown kids living in low-income neighborhoods have a higher likelihood of developing childhood asthma. It could be from the oil operations, it could be from the gas stoves they potentially have, but this is a very real thing. Yeah, developing cancer, developing childhood asthma. That's like just a regular thing that happens in Los Angeles and in low-income neighborhoods in California that we just don't even think about. You know what I mean? And that's a real thing that's happening all the time. It's just like you're not going to see the media nonstop fucking talk about this shit. They won't even tell you that the top of the hour ad break is coming in 20 minutes late, and then boom, all of a sudden the top of the hour ad break is here, and you're like, what the fuck? I didn't realize. Why is it here 20 minutes late? Well, maybe because I forgot to run it. Okay, I'm not on my fucking A game right now. But if you no longer want to see those 3-minute ads at the top of the fucking hour or the middle of the hour ad break, which is 1 minute long, but that's a secret one, all you need to do is subscribe, which you could do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Okay, here's the 3-minute ad break now. You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. All right, let's get back to the MSU thing.
These photos of the alleged gunman, described as a short-statured black male wearing a jean jacket, red shoes, and a baseball cap.
He was a manly.
About an hour later, police say the gunman shot and killed himself at an off-campus location.
Clear, mail not moving. GSW that.
After police determined there was no longer a threat to the campus, MSU's interim president offered an emotional message to the community.
We will take 2 days when we will move to emergency operation to give ourselves time to think and to grieve and to be together. And this Spartan community, this family, will come back.
Classes here are canceled for the next 2 days. We spoke to students last night who said even though police say the gunman is dead, they were still too afraid to sleep in their dorms. Some checked into a local hotel and others went home to their parents. Nate?
Roxana, thank you.
And welcome back, everybody. We are learning more about last night's shootings on MSU's campus that left 3 students dead, 5 others are critically wounded, and we have learned who's behind the attacks. Fox 2's Jessica Dupnack, live in East Lansing.
Apparently, this is there's new developments on this. Classes are canceled for the week now, not just for 2 days. For the record, for those of you, there's new information on this.
You're just doing a great job. I know it's been a really long night, long morning for you, but we appreciate you being there so much and bringing such important information.
Yeah, and really this is a testament, not to the media, but really to the law enforcement and the medical professionals that have been literally up all night trying to sort through this mess. I want to get to some breaking information that I was just able to confirm regarding the shooter, who his name is Anthony McCrae, and I'll now refer to him as the shooter for the duration of the report, a 43-year-old from Lansing. We're learning a little more about his past. I'm just getting some information from the Michigan Department of Corrections right now about his prior offenses. I guess he has 4 counts between 2006 2008 of driving on a suspended license. Again, a more serious charge in 2019 here in June of 2019 in Lansing. I guess he was found by police heading to a store. He had a weapon on him. He was stopped by police. That weapon was not registered, and he did not have a concealed pistols license to be traveling with that weapon. He did end up pleading guilty to that felony charge and served probation time for that. That just gives a little indication that obviously this shooter has a past with weapons. Now, as far as motive, we have really no indication at this point what his motive, why he chose Michigan State University on February 13th to carry out this attack. It's something in details that both Michigan State police and the FBI are keeping very close to the vest. But a little recap of what we've been talking about all morning. We are standing here in front of Berkey Hall. That was the initial scene here on campus. That shooter moved a couple doors down to the Union to carry out the rest of the attack. Now we got an indication from Michigan State Police what it looked like on the ground when that call went out shortly after 8 o'clock. Let's take a listen to the Deputy Chief of Michigan State University Police.
There was a absolutely overwhelming police.
Yeah, he was on the radar of law enforcement, dude. What do you expect? Bro, their radar is he's always on the radar. Every guy is on the radar. It's so odd because we have laws supposedly around this shit, whether it be some semblance of red flag laws, whether it be some kind of like it's supposed to be illegal if you are a domestic abuser, for example, to own a gun, but it just never works. It just
police response to that initial call. We had officers in that building within minutes, and in that building...
Wait, never mind. Michigan does not require background checks for long guns, have a red flag law, disarm domestic abusers, restrict assault weapons, limit magazine capacity, or regulate open carry. Yeah, I mean, that's... Yeah. Yep. You know it's crazy, too, because, like, when it comes to violating the Fourth Amendment, the Supreme Court is like, oh, fuck yeah, please let me violate. Please, bring any kind of... When it comes down to, like, protecting abortion, protecting, like, straight up regular medical procedures that you may want to get as a whole as adult, the Supreme Court will never defend you. But god damn it, dude, if the state legislatures, if let's say in the perfect world, state legislatures are like all blue, okay, across the board, both the House and the fucking Senate inside of the states are let's say deep blue, and they decide to do what Republicans do all the fucking time and like genuinely push for this kind of thing, you bet your fucking ass that would be elevated to the Supreme Court so goddamn fast in violation of the the Second Amendment, and it'd be struck down so quickly, dude. Holy fuck, don't even think about it. You know what I mean? Don't even imagine. Yeah, you can't do that. No shot. Nice, dude. Okay, I'm gonna delete the Erdogan leak from the title because people are being annoying. It's not like okay, I'm just gonna take that off the title so people stop asking me about it. Okay, cover that later when I get to it. It's not even a leak. It's just it came out that he like openly off zamanında birkaç sene önce 2019 senesinde galiba off vermiş developerlara, Kahramanmaraş'taki ve her yerdeki developerlara ve ondan sonra da AK Parti'de AKP hep bu malzeme kaçıran şerefsiz orospu çocuğu olan müteahhitlere yapmışlar, vermişler, izin vermişler çalmalarına. It's just old audio of known corruption. Exactly. Oldu mu? Anladınız mı?
Encountered several students who were injured. We can confirm that 2 of the deceased were in Berkey Hall.
We now know the 8 victims, all students here at Michigan State University.
There was more than one person based on what we heard from people around the campus. Yeah, there was a lot of misinformation, I guess. People are very brain broken about this. About half of adults say there would be fewer mass shootings if it was harder for people to obtain guns legally, while about as many either say this would make no difference or that there would be more mass shootings. 9% say there would be more mass shootings if there were less guns on the street. 42% say that it wouldn't make a difference. That is just objectively untrue. So I don't know what to fucking say about it. Like, it's like asking Americans, like, do you think I don't even know what else would be so obvious, brother. This is not an opinion, okay? It is just an objective fact. It's like asking Americans, thank you, that's one chatter said it. It's like asking Americans, like 42% of Americans don't think smoking causes cancer, like lung cancer, or increases the likelihood that you'll get lung cancer. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care that 42% of Americans think that. They're just wrong. They're objectively wrong. 42% of Americans don't think that smoking increases the likelihood that you could have lung cancer, and 9% of Americans actually think smoking is better for your lungs. Like, you just basically said that to me. At least 30% of Americans will always agree to the dumbest thing, okay? At least you can get at least 30% of Americans to just like advocate for the silliest shit, just objectively untrue shit.
3 of them sadly found dead. The other 5 students were taken to Sparrow Hospital in nearby Lansing for where we are here on campus. They remain in critical condition. As far as a prognosis for those students, we have not gotten that yet. yet, but we are expected to learn the names of all of the victims involved as long as family has been notified. But just a very calm, quiet scene here on campus. University will be closed or on modified operations for the next 2 days, then classes canceled until Monday. But sort of rewinding back to last night, being here really throughout the night, just an amazing law enforcement response here. Hundreds of officers from across the state ascended here in East Lansing. It was that response and really a testament to the students and the folks here in the East Lansing area. It was a tip that led to the shooter. As police moved in on the shooter, he, of course, as we've been reported, shot himself and was found deceased. But again, we were just learning, and we talked about at the top there, that this shooter does have a prior history, driving on a suspended license, but also a more serious charge of a felony firearm charge. He was caught with a weapon in 2019 in Lansing and was later charged and served probationary time. But we will hopefully learn more about motive, because I think that's really a big question, aside from, of course, all of the thoughts and prayers for this community, is the question why, and we're left hanging with that as of this morning. Send it back to you guys.
Hey, Jessica, a question for you. As we were listening to police scanner traffic last night, and calls were coming in fast and furious of reports of gunfire, reports of somebody banging on a door, how does law enforcement create a perimeter, or how do they sweep all these buildings? We know there are hundreds of buildings on campus, and some of these old buildings filled with all kinds of nooks and crannies. So what is the approach when it comes to searching for a gunman on the loose in such a vast area?
Oh, yeah, Dina, you're familiar with campus. We're talking about 400 buildings here on campus alone, not to mention, obviously, this is a metropolitan area in East Lansing and Lansing. The sad part about all of this is these officers are extremely well trained in searching for shooters, because it has become so common.
Bro, they're so well trained in searching for shooters that they couldn't find him, apparently, where he was like walking around fucking campus. And also, on top of that, like, bro, there is never a fucking, I guess the campus is really big, but there's never a moment where local news won't use any fucking instance to just do propaganda. Like, literally, it's like they hit a couple buttons, okay? First button they hit is thoughts and prayers. Nobody knows how we could have avoided this. Thoughts and prayers is all we got. And then the second button they hit is like, thank God for our police, our boys in the blue. It's like almost every single one of these fucking mass shootings literally always ends when the shooter decides to end it, or an unarmed person tries to apprehend the shooter. Okay, it's like never the cops that come in. I want the cops to come in and like actually fucking stop it. Okay, I want it. That'd be great. That's what we pay them to do, But it's wild. Like, the media plays this gigantic role in making it seem like cops are always like fucking doing everything they can, and they do such a great job, and they always find the shooter. It's like, but they never do. And I don't understand it. Like, I don't know why the media, I mean, I do know why the media runs with that narrative. They have to. It's just like another arm of capital.
Commonplace. This is regular part of police training. I know we talked to Sheriff Michael Bouchard last night, and he was sending all his resources up there, thermal drones to search for a suspect. But really, I think in this situation, what helped is just having an immense police presence on the ground.
What do you mean? They found the shooter after he shot himself, lol. Exactly. That's always how it works.
Scouring, looking, and not to mention, and I have to give it to Michigan State University Police, and I've yet to see something like this. They were so quick to get a suspect picture out, keep the media informed, and it was all over social media. That image we saw, the shooter with the red shoes and the hat and the jean jacket, and it was ultimately someone who spotted the shooter, called police, and they moved in. But a terrifying 4 hours. Again, I don't need to tell you, but just a terrifying 4 hours here in and around campus.
That's not what happened. They made contact with the shooter, and then he shot himself. Yeah.
Hey, Jessica, I wanted to ask about
That is, again, an incredibly fucking, he's done with the shooting. He's done the mass shooting. He's done with the shooting. He runs away. Cops come up, and he kills himself. It's always that is the most common thing that happens. It's the most common thing that fucking happens in almost every single mass shooting. It's just like, the way that it goes is rarely ever cops come in and they fucking apprehend the shooter. It's never like that. Like, even with armed retaliation from good guys with guns, it's still incredibly rare for a mass shooter to be apprehended or taken down before before they actually end up shooting and killing people. It just doesn't happen. And like, obviously that's a highly unlikely scenario anyway in the real world, because the real world is not like fucking movies, right? I get that, which is why I advocate for more gun control, because like, I understand, even after Uvalde I said this, where it was like, I get the fear that people have in not wanting to throw their bodies at the fucking problem, which is why you have to make it easier. You know what I mean? You have to make it easier for human beings to at least have like a better sense of control over a situation. But in a country where there are more guns in circulation than there are people, it's like impossible. So the gun control argument is literally a pro-cop argument when you think about it. Even though a lot of these fucking dickheads are super pro-gun themselves, they just don't realize that like, yeah, it's better for everyone if there was more control over weapons and how they circulate. Yeah, sometimes they do come in and they shoot the good guy with the gun. That's why one of the main things in the concealed carry training courses is to like, they teach you one of the first things they teach you is like immediately identify to the cops that you're a concealed carry holder.
Search warrant. Reportedly, there was a search performed on a residence last night. Was that the shooter's residence? Do we know? What do we know about that?
Sources are telling me that was the shooter's home. We did some tracing back in the newsroom, and it does appear that he is obviously a Lansing resident. The facts do sort of trace up, although we have yet to hear that publicly from police. My sources are telling me that is, in fact, his house. There was one weapon recovered, but he did have a backpack on him, according to sources, last night. So we've seen in other mass shootings the possibility of more weapons or ammunition that he came to carry out that attack. Although that has not been confirmed publicly, we do know at least confirmed one weapon was recovered from the shooter.
Jessica, I wanted to ask you, while I'm listening to scanner traffic last night, and then of course you have students who are trying to be helpful and have heard a tip and they think that they've spotted someone. You've spoken about
gun control is a dangerous precedent which opens road for government tyranny, says Hoddock's middle nut. So this is always the funniest fucking take from people, because it's like, bro, we live under a tyrannical administration already. You're just stupid enough not to recognize it. What do you mean? What more tyranny is the government going to do? Are they going to come to your home and like forcibly make you queer or something? Is that what you think is government tyranny? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You think the American government gives a shit about you? You think the American government is doing good things in general? No, you're just dumb and think that it's fine, everything is all right because you can get your jalapeno poppers at Applebee's. Okay, like, the government's tyrannical. I don't see you fucking fighting against it with your weapon. So shut the fuck up. And on top of that, like, there are probably less tyrannical and more free people, okay, around the world where they have less weapons in circulation. I would say that it's tyrannical to paywall healthcare. I would say that it's tyrannical to not allow people to survive in this country. It's tyrannical to fucking jail, it's tyrannical to jail people who are addicted to drugs. It's tyrannical to have the highest prisoner population per capita, okay? That's a police state. That's a prison state. That's the state that we live in. There are countries with far lower prisoner per capita numbers, okay? There are countries where the government at least like takes care of their health problems. Those are infinitely less tyrannical nations, just objectively so, and yet they don't have guns. It's crazy to me that we think like, oh man, America become a tyrannical government. It's like, bro, what do you mean? I mean, what do you think? I think it's fucking personally tyrannical that we got kids who have survived 2 mass shootings in a row. You know what I mean? That's pretty tyrannical. That the government doesn't do shit about that. That's wild. It's insane. That's crazy.
The brilliant work that police have done out there and just how many officers, how wide of a scale this was. But I'm wondering, what do those tips mean? How do they process those, determine whether or not it's something they should move on, and maybe they're, close to finding someone and then they get a tip and they go somewhere else? They're having to filter all of this in real time.
I say this as someone who also loves shooting guns. Like, I don't have a problem with guns. I don't have an issue with guns. I like shooting guns. They're fun, okay? But they're very dangerous. I recognize how fucking dangerous guns are, okay? I mean, it's not like I hide that, by the way. I've done it on stream.
Absolutely, and that's a really good point. And we heard the deputy chief of Michigan State University Police touch on that, talking about you can't believe everything you see on social media. And we know that these kids, 18, 19, 20 years old, they're all over social media. We know how fast that spreads. So not only are police looking for the shooter, they're also having to sift through all of the rumors and all of that. And then, you can't not check it, because that could be the tip that leads to the shooter. So it's an incredible job by law enforcement last night, and especially, as I've said before in the reporting, the context of the situation. It's just such a massive undertaking. In the past, we've seen shootings contained to a store or one specific building in a school. This scope was incredible.
Jess, thank you again for all your reporting out there. And we know as
God damn, bro. It's just like over and over again. The scanner audio as they approach them. Ooh, what does Intel Doge
Gonna
say?
reroute you. We got a person on the line saying they saw the subject matching the shooter's description on High Street near McDonald's near Lake Lansing. Okay, clear on that. 11:36, just be advised. Dave also heading in the area.